Good afternoon, 6th grade. I hope you've had a fantastic day at school. This afternoon we will be learning about dividing fractions. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to divide whole numbers by fractions and fractions by fractions. Now, in order to do this, we need to learn a brand new word called reciprocal. Now, a reciprocal, it's nothing complicated. It is so easy. Reciprocal is just a fraction upside down. So 7/8 becomes 8 over 7. We take the numerator, make it the denominator, and the denominator becomes the numerator. Just flipping it upside down. Not complicated at all. Now 9, as we learned on Monday, 9, well, that's not a fraction, but it can become a fraction. It becomes a fraction by putting it over 1. 9 over 1 is the same thing as 9 wholes. It just looks different. So taking the reciprocal of 9, or 9 over 1, becomes 1 over 9. I take the denominator, make it the numerator. I take the numerator and make it the denominator. It is so easy. Now, we are going to be using reciprocals to divide by a fraction. Now again, dividing fractions is so easy. If you know how to multiply fractions, which we've been learning all week, you know how to divide fractions. It is so easy. So 12 divided by 8 over 9. I'm going to take 12, turn it into a fraction by putting it over 1, then divided by 8 over 9. Now you may be wondering, Mrs. Gordon, how can I divide 12 divided by 8, or 1 divided by 9? I can't do this. But you can, and here's how. I'm going to rewrite this. 12 over 1, I'm going to change the division sign to a multiplication sign and multiply the reciprocal of this number right here, the 8 9. So I'm going to flip 8 9s upside down, turn it into 9 over 8, and now I am ready to multiply. So 12 times 9, to work this out, 12 times 9, 9 times 2 is 18, 9 times 1 plus 1 is 10. So my numerator is 108, and 1 times 8 is my denominator, so 8 becomes the denominator. Now I see that I ended up with an improper fraction. I need to reduce and change it into a mixed number. So 108 divided by 8. Let's work this out really quickly. 108 divided by 8. 8 goes into 10 one time. Take away the 8. 8 into 28, that goes in 3 times. 4 left over. So my answer is 13 and 4/8. But I'm not quite done yet because I see that I can reduce 4/8 even further. 4/8 is the same as 1/2. So my answer, 12 divided by 8 over 9, is 13 and 1/2. It's that easy to divide fractions. If you think about it, there's really no division involved. It's all multiplication. So let's try another one. 8 divided by 3/4. Just like the first one, I'm going to take the whole number, turn it into a fraction, divide by 3/4. Now since I'm not dividing, I'm going to be multiplying. I need to take the 8 over 1 and multiply by the reciprocal. So 4 over 3. Now I'm ready to multiply. 8 times 4 is 32. 1 times 3 is 3. Now I can divide to reduce. 32 divided by 3. 3 goes into 3 one time. Bring down the 2. 3 does not go into 2 at all. And so there are 2 left over. So my answer for 8 divided by 3/4 is 10 and 2/3. Again, not complicated whatsoever. Just taking what you know about multiplication and using that to solve division problems. Now we're going to divide fractions by fractions. It's the exact same concept here as we just did with the other two math problems. So I'm going to take 5 over 10 divided by 5 over 6. Since I'm not going to divide, I'm actually going to multiply. I'm going to take 5 over 10, keeping the first fraction the same. The first fraction always stays the same, and that is important. If you take the reciprocal of the first fraction, your answer is going to be incorrect. So make sure the first fraction listed stays the same. You're going to take the reciprocal of the second fraction. So 5 over 6. Reciprocal of 5 over 6 is 6 over 5, because we just flip it upside down. And now I'm ready to multiply. 5 times 6 is 30. 10 times 5 is 50. And now I can reduce. Now one thing I see here that's interesting about this particular fraction is both 30 and 50 end in a 0. So I know that I can divide both of them by 10. So I'm going to divide both by 10. 30 divided by 10 is 3. 50 divided by 10 is 5. So my answer, 5/10 divided by 5/6 equals 3/5. Now let's look at the other one. 5/8 divided by 5/6. 5/8, shorten it a little. 5/8 divided by, well, I know the divided by becomes a multiplication sign. And I'm going to take the reciprocal of the second number. So 6 over 5. So 5 times 6 is 30. 8 times 5 is 40. Again, they both end in a 0. So I see that I can divide both by 10. 3 divided by 10 is, or 30 divided by 10 is 3. And 40 divided by 10 is 4. So my answer is 3/4. So dividing a fraction by a whole number. Now we have seen whole numbers earlier in this lesson, but we haven't seen it as the second number. But again, it's exactly the same. So I have 7/8 divided by 3 over 1, because I changed my fraction, or my whole number, to a fraction. Then I take the reciprocal. 7/8 times 1 over 3. Take this number, flip it upside down. So 7 times 1 is 7. 8 times 3 is 24. I can reduce, no, I can't reduce that. So my answer is 7 over 24. So now it's your turn to try. On page 232, please complete numbers 6 through 8 and 13 through 16, and that will give you practice covering everything that we just learned. So if you have any questions, make sure you bring them to class tomorrow, and I hope you have a fantastic evening. Have a good night.